Hey fellow YouTubers, thanks for tuning in today. I guess this video is more for people that have been in the military or who are thinking of joining the military. And when I joined the military, planning out your career and all that stuff really wasn't taught to you, especially before you went into the military. And I would say, before you even join the military, you want to figure out, what am I going to do after I'm done with the military and that. And one of the selling points they have for you when you're joining the military, and I mean, a lot of people who join the military, they don't plan on being lifers or doing 20 years and such. I mean, I myself, I kind of went in with a half-assed plan. It's like, oh, I'll do my 4 years of the Marine Corps, and then I could have enough money to go to college and stuff. But around my third year, in the military, I was really considering doing 20 years, and things kind of changed in that in my life, and I decided to be against that. But when I was in the before I joined the military, one of the selling points was like, oh, you're going to gain like invaluable experience, and employers will really be after you and blah 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 and all this stuff. And just to share my own point of view, and I just recently did an experiment, and I'm going to get to you guys with that experiment, the results of that. um, but like after I got done with college, I started hitting the job market. I had menial jobs while I was in college, working full time and sometimes, well, part time and sometimes full time, working two part time jobs, because when I got out of the Marine Corps in '99, hell, I only got a GI Bill, and that only covered like $17,000. So that really isn't shit. That basically covered my room and board while I was in college. The rest I still had to pay for. So that's one thing you want to look into when you're joining the military, is like see how much your GI Bill really is. If I would have had I don't know, I was so centered on going to the college I wanted to go to. There was a lot of stuff I didn't know back then when I was young. And I want to share this with you guys that are thinking about going into the military, and with you guys that are already out of the military. I had an option. Like, one of the things you'll learn in TAPS, that's what they call it in the Marine Corps. It's called TAPS, and it's basically an acquisition program. Oh, well, not an acquisition, but a transition program to help you transition back into the civilian world. And one of the things I learned is, once you get out of the Marine Corps or out of the military, after doing 4 years of active duty, you can actually pick any state in the United States that you want uh, to become a citizen, to become a long-term citizen is what I should say. So I was from Pennsylvania, and colleges here, they didn't really offer any kind of incentive for military personnel to go to college. So when I got out, I could have easily went to Illinois and registered myself as a resident of Illinois, the state of Illinois. Well, why am I saying Illinois? Illinois, and and then I could have qualified for their military program at the time, or the college program they had, where it was basically free tuition for military veterans. So I could have went to Illinois and got a free education there, but that wasn't the college I wanted to go to. So I didn't do that. I kind of wish I would have. That would have saved me a lot of money. But being young, I didn't know that much about it. So I think that's just one thing I would have done different. I probably would have went to Illinois and became a resident there, and then received a free education. That's a big deal, to be able to come out of college and not have any debt. Um, the second issue I had with the Marine Corps was they had these little college courses you could take. They called them Marine Corps Institute, or MCIs. And the benefit of taking the MCIs when you were in the Marine Corps was that your ranking system goes by points. So you have to get so many points in a certain period of time, and if you get over the above amount of points, then you will go to the next pay grade. So you can go from an E3 to an E4 probably within a year, if you have enough points when the evaluation time comes. And I forget what the evaluation time was. I can't remember if it was every 6 months or every 12 months. So I can't really quote you any numbers on that. But that's how it was. And I don't even know if it's like that anymore. But one of the big disappointments I had, I went to Penn State, and I took 38 of those MCI credits in the Marine Corps. Now, how many of those do you think actually transitioned to Penn State to become actual credits, that I could put towards my education and save money? The answer was zero, because the Marine Corps Institute programs that or classes that you take in the Marine Corps, they're not accredited. So no basically any university that's accredited will not accept Marine Corps Institute credits. So to me, that was like a really big waste of time. I spent all that time doing 38 of those, thinking it would save me some money in college, but come to find out it didn't. What I did get, or what I did receive from Penn State, was I received, 4 credits towards my, basically gym credits. Because when you're in college, they even require you to take like phys ed credits and such. And I was like, oh, big whoop-de-doo. So that means I don't have to take volleyball class, once out of the week, for the semester. So that was kind of a big disappointment. But the bigger disappointments were to come. Because as I got out of college and I started searching for work in that, I remember I couldn't find a professional full-time job right after college. It was 2003. And so I took a job at Walmart, like stocking shelves, and it was a temporary position. It was a seasonal thing, like they do every year, where they just hire people for 90 days, and then because they need the extra hands for during Christmas and all that shit. And I figured, you know what, I want to make more money, so I went over to Lowe's, which was right across the street, and I figured, oh, this would be awesome. I can work at Walmart, put my 8 hours in there, get off at 6 in the morning because it was third shift, and then I could just start at Lowe's, at 8 in the morning, because they were hiring for, just basically extra hands to push carts and shit. That's basically all it was. You'd be taking carts from the parking lot and taking it back up to the building, and probably some other additional things and stuff like that. So I put an application in there, and I got the interview. So I'm in there getting interviewed and all this stuff. And I told them what my situation was. Like, yeah, I'm a college graduate. I served in the military and or the Marines, and then I'm currently working at Walmart. Doing 8-hour days. And he said, well, if you're doing 8-hour days over there, you're going to have to come over here and do another 8-hour day, another 8-hour shift. And I was like, well, yeah, I said, but it's not like, it's going to be really physically demanding. You just want us to push carts basically and stuff like that. And he's like, I don't think you'd really be able to handle it. And I'm like, well, I said I don't think I would have any problem handling it. I said I did it all the time when I was in the Marine Corps. Some days I didn't, or some spans I didn't get to sleep for 3 days at a time, because I was working. And he said, well, and this is what really pissed me off, this is what he said to me. He said, well, that's because you had to. You were in the military under a contract and you had to do it. So that was his reason for not hiring me, because even though I was qualified and I could have handled it easily. I mean, there's millions of people every day working 16, 20-hour shifts, and it was just insulting for him to say that. Oh, it's just because you had to. That was your lows for you. So I was like, you know what, the hell with you. So I ended up getting another part-time job somewhere else, and and ever since that day, I just realized, military experience doesn't mean shit to these employers. And I remember another interview I had. Um, I won't name the company because this was a bigger company, and during the interview, it was kind of for like a supervisor position, and I already had experience supervising, and I had a lot of skills, and web design. I've had management skills and all this crap. Like I have a shitload of skills, forklift driving, pneumatic forklifts, and all this stuff. So catalog design, and this is what this is what the human resource person told me. When they got to the part about my Marine Corps experience, well, they were like, well, one thing you got to keep in mind, and this is before I'm even hired. One thing you got to keep in mind, you can't be all Marine-like to the employees and such. And I'm like, well, could you please elaborate on that? And she was like, well, you can't be like all gun-ho and and telling them what to do and stuff like that. And I was like, my Marine Corps days were like fucking like 7 years ago at this point. And I'm like, so basically what that told me is there's a stereotype going on, and it's probably a stereotype we don't think of, but I guess this was a very friendly atmosphere, and the human resource manager feared that, oh my god, we can't have a Marine in here, who's a supervisor, coming down hard on employees that aren't doing their job or something, like I'm going to be this freaking tyrant coming in, just like tearing up the place and stuff. And so that was, and this was a totally different industry. This wasn't retail, this was a totally different industry. I don't want to name names on this one. And, and just other resumes I put out, my military, the resumes would always say, oh, were you in the military? And then the company, they'll have a little thing on their application or on their website that says, oh, military veterans, we welcome military veterans with open arms and stuff. I've never received a job because of my military experience. Like, my military experience, from my point of view, was worth jack shit to the employers that I've applied for or that I've worked for in my life. They don't take that into consideration. They actually don't even really count it as military experience. Another thing I learned about a lot of employers, they don't really give a shit like what college you go to. So if you're thinking, unless you're like Harvard, Yale, or Brown, or any of the real top, really super expensive college and universities, and not even all of them, I'm just the big name ones. I thought Penn State would be nice because it's a well-known college, and it had a good reputation and such, and that really didn't play into any helping me to. It didn't give me really any advantage. There's so many colleges and community colleges out there offering degrees and that the market's kind of saturated with college degrees, and employers don't really give a shit. So if you're in high school and you're thinking about going to college, and then this college here costs $100,000 or $50,000 versus a college you can go to for $24,000, just take the cheapest route. Because from my experience, employers do not care what college you go to. It does not matter to them. And to be honest, I mean, I could see their point of view on that, because every job I've ever had out of college, even though it said it required a college degree, you didn't really need a college degree. I think the longest job that took me the longest to learn, it took me like a month to learn. And what they taught me and trained me to do, I didn't. A college degree was not required. It was just a requirement by the human resource part of the company. That was the only thing that required a college degree. Now, when it says requires a college degree, it doesn't say from what college. So save yourself some money and go to a community college. Go to a cheaper college. Don't go to these big colleges anymore because they're not worth it, and it's not worth coming out of school having like $40,000 in debt. It's just not worth it anymore. So now to get to the experiment part. As you know, we all have our bad apples in all of our families and that. And this is one of my cousins, and like right now, the fracking industry's has been a big thing lately, especially in my state. And they were hiring people out the wazoo. They're not hiring as many people now anymore, because of the cost of oil going down and such. But there's still a few that are hiring and such. And right now, I've been self-employed for the last 5 years. That's what I've been doing. I'm not really looking for work or anything like that. But my cousin, I won't name my cousin because I don't want to. He got this job, but so I'm going to tell you what we did. We both applied for the same job at a gas and oil company, and it was for what was it, a frac operator or frac field operator. And let me tell you the background. You kind of know my background. I'm military veteran, honorably discharged, college degree. I have management supervisory experience. Just in my self-employed job, my self-employed business that I've been doing for the last 5 years, it's labor intensive. I do moving jobs and landscaping, house guttings, clean outs, all this kind of stuff. Now my cousin, he was a convicted felon. He had served 7 years in jail. He went the total opposite route of me. He didn't graduate high school. He went to prison. And it's not like he was there once. He got out, and then he got into trouble again, went back in, got out, got into trouble again, went back in, and it came out to like a total of 7 years in prison that he did. But in that time he was in prison, he got free education. He got all these certifications. He even got a food safety service certification. He got OSHA certification. He got all these free degrees and shit. I don't even know them all, but I didn't think they'd be really amount to anything, And so we kind of like had a competition. We both applied for the same job, and our age difference isn't much big either. Like I'm only about 6 years older than he is. And so we applied for the same exact job. Well, he got the job. I didn't get the job. That's all I'm saying. Military veteran, college degree, never been in jail a day of my life. Hard worker. My job, I was basically looked over, and they took a felon over a United States veteran. So that's the kind of system. And I'm not gonna name the. I don't. I'm happy for my cousin in that. I'm really happy for him because I don't need the work. But as an experiment, it was very saddening that he got the interview and he came in. I got a letter saying, sorry, we don't feel that your experience and blah 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 doesn't meet what we need. And basically the jobs that my cousin did, was roofing. That was the one thing I don't have experience in. I never did roofing before, but I don't see how roofing experience has anything to do with fracking, And the thing is, I don't even, it's just saddening. That's all I can say, and I don't know what to think about it. So to me, it's just another. It's just more proof that employers do not value veterans. They don't value the experience. And if anyone's ever had experience with like that, with that happening to them, feel free to leave your comments below. Now, I'm not saying all veterans probably have that kind of luck. I'm sure some veterans have gotten or received really good job offers, like after they got out of the military and that. But I think for the majority wise, like the experience, they just don't give a crap about it. So that's kind of a messed up situation. And it's a good paying job. It pays like over, with all the overtime you factor in, you're making like 70 to $100,000 a year in the fracking industry. Just as like a field operator and that. So, but all right, well, that was the experiment, and you guys can leave your thoughts and comments below about it underneath the video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. If I come up with any other good ideas for experiments, I'm definitely gonna do them, because the job market's always been something that's kind of interested me and such. So, all right, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.